So far we looked into movies table. Today we are going to move to a different table called actors, and we'll discuss calculated columns or derived columns. When you look at this data, you have actor name and birth here. And for your analytical purpose, you may want to get an age for each of these actors. Let's say you want to do analytics such as what is an average age of an actor in Bollywood or Hollywood, who is the youngest actor in Hollywood, etc. Having age will be very helpful in that case. And the way you derive the age is you will get a current year and then subtract birth year from that. Now, to get current year in Excel, there has to be some formula. And I don't know what that formula is. So I can go and ask my dear friend Google. So you can just say Excel get current year. And you will find this formula and you can just use that. Okay. See, I use that formula, and when you do this, you get the current year. And then from that current year, you can subtract the birth year. Okay. Okay, I think there was some issue. So let me do this again. So I will say, this is my current year. I will double click, type in that year minus birth year, and that gives me the current, the age of that actor. And you can just click on this and see, you see the age of each of these actors. Can we do something similar in MySQL? So I will now replace my Google search with MySQL get current year. See, what you type in Google is a very important skill. This is the skill that can give you superpowers. So do not underestimate that. Good programmers or good data scientists and analysts, they don't remember the syntax. They know the art of how to search for the answers. And I get this article, let's say. And see, there is a function called year, which can take date as an input and it will give you the year. For example, in this case, it will return 2017. But I don't have a date. I want to give a current date. How do you get current date? Well, this is the way. When you use a function called CURDATE, it will give you current date and then you can take year portion from it. So I'm going to copy this into MySQL. So I will say select current date and it gives you the current date. And when you wrap it around year, when you call it from year function, it gives you current year. Okay. Now, all you need to do is, once you confirm that this returns the current year, you can say star from moviesdb.actors. We don't need to type moviesdb because it's a default database. This will return all the columns. And in addition to that, you want, let's say, this as a new column. So now you got current date and you can just say minus birth year as age. You can say as age and then it will print that as an age. Here you can give any column name. This is up to you. But see, getting the age was as easy as just typing a formula and using that in a select statement. Now, let's go to a different table, and that table is financials. We are going to use some more calculated columns for financial tables. When you look at this table, let me show you this table in the Excel file. And what this table has is the movie ID. For example, 101 is KGF chapter 2. And in the future chapters, we'll look into how you can join two different tables using left join, right join, etc. But for now, using ID, you can figure out which movie is that, right? 102 is Doctor Strange. And for 102, which is Doctor Strange, they made $954 million in box office as of the date that this data was captured. And their budget for making movie was 200. Now let's say you want to calculate the profit columns. How do you do that? Well, it's very simple, right? It is profit is equal to this minus budget. and we will be able to do same thing using the formula in MySQL as well. So what we'll say is revenue minus budget as profit. So star means all the columns. If you want to print selected columns, you can specify their name separated by comma. But see, this worked fine. Now let's say you want to print the revenue of all the movies into a single currency, because right now these numbers that you're seeing, they are having this dimension of currency and unit. So you can't compare these two numbers. You can't say, okay, this movie made more profit than this, because this is in USD, that too in millions, whereas this is in billions of INR. Okay. So if you want to do apples to apple conversion, you have to convert everything into a single currency and everything into single unit. Okay. But that's a separate discussion. For now, let's say your purpose is to convert everything into INR, so that the currency that you see here is the INR currency. And how can you do that? Well, USD to INR currency conversion ratio right now is 77. It is changing every day. If you're working in any organization and if you're doing currency conversion, you will use the live spot rate, the currency conversion rate, as of the date when this data was captured. But since this is a tutorial, I want to keep things simple. We'll just assume that USD to INR conversion ratio is, let's say, 77. So if you want to convert 954 millions into Indian rupees, you will say 954 into 77. Simple. Okay. So how do I have a new column called, let's say, revenue INR? Okay. So I want to have a new column called revenue INR, and every revenue is in INR. We will use something called if condition. So the if condition, the way it works is this. You will use if condition and you will say if currency is equal to USD, then take revenue and multiply it by 77. And if it is not USD, just print revenue. Okay. And let me run this. So what happened is, if the currency is INR, then it is keeping it same, 12.5, 12.5. But if it is USD, then it is multiplying this number with 77. And you can verify that by using some tool called calculator. So let's say 954.8, see 73519. Okay. So the way this if condition works is, in if, the first thing you have is a condition. The second thing you have is, what do you want to do if the condition is true? And the third thing is, what do you want to do if the condition is false? It is as easy as that. All right. Now let's print all the revenue numbers into millions currency. Ideally, if you want to, let's say, find out which movie made the maximum money on box office across the board, all the Bollywood, Hollywood movies, and you want to compare, okay, which movie made the most money. In that case, you have to convert revenue into single currency and then into single unit. And that will make our query a little complicated. And we are in a stage of the course where I don't want to make things too complicated. Therefore, since you learned currency conversion, I will now do unit conversion. Okay, I will not do currency conversion, just the unit conversion. So for unit conversion, what you have to do is, let's first find out how many units we have. So you can say select distinct unit from financials. Okay. Do you have any memory of what this will return? It will return the number of unique values that this column has. So billions, millions, and thousands. We have three values. Now, millions is a very popular currency. So what I'll do is I will convert everything into a million. So I will have some condition here and I will print revenue in millions because that's very popular. How do you convert billions into millions? So to convert billions into millions, you have to, whatever number you have, let's say you have 12 billion, okay? What will be the millions? It will be 12,000, which means you are multiplying 12 with 1,000. So the condition is, if the value is in billions, you multiply your revenue with 1,000. But if it is thousands, let's say you have these many thousands, you divide that by these many thousands, okay? These many thousands meaning this is the actual number. So these many thousands is actually 4.567 million, okay? So the formula that you will use here is revenue divided by 1,000. Okay, this is like a simple math. Okay, so if condition is useful when you have binary condition. Previously we had if USD, then do this, otherwise do that. But here we have more than two conditions to check. If billions, then do this. If thousands, then do this. And if the unit is in millions, then just keep things as is. Okay, so how do you express that? You can do this using something called a case statement. Okay, now how does case statement work? You will say MySQL case statement. You are using your most powerful weapon, folks, Google search. And the way case statement works is you will say case and you will specify when some condition, then this, when some other condition, then this, else, then this. Okay, so let's do this. So you'll say case and. So whatever you get from case, that output will be stored in revenue million. What is your case? Okay, my case is when currency is, let's say, thousands. When currency is 1,000, what do you want to do? Then you want to divide revenue by 1,000, correct? And then when currency is billions, then you want to multiply revenue by 1,000. Okay, let's run this. You can select this. Actually, comma is not needed. Okay, there is some problem. So not currency, actually I have to check unit. Okay, I mixed up two things here. Okay, so see, when it was 12.5, it converted into 12,500, which is fine. But I'm seeing blank here because for millions I did not do anything. So you have to specify your default case, which is else. If the unit is everything else, or you can also say when unit is equal to millions, that is probably the right way. When you say unit is equal to millions, then this is probably the right way. But now that we already know that we don't have any more units, you can also do this else. Both are same. Okay, and now all the numbers you see are in millions of either dollar or INR. Okay, as I said, the right way is to convert now this number into USD or INR, but maybe you can do that. It will make your query look a little complicated. All right, so I hope you learned few new things here. I'll see you in the next video, and make sure you work on the exercises.